Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Travis and this is Bacon and Backpacking. The audio clip for my intro video was actually corrupted, so I'm just going to go ahead and start off with a short voiceover here. So this is a 3-day solo backpacking trip in Dolly Sods, West Virginia. I'm going to go ahead and start the video off here with a little bit of night hiking and some footage of my campsite. Hope you guys enjoy the video. The plan today is just, hike in about 1 to 2 miles and set up camp right near Red Creek. And then tomorrow we've got something like 13 to 14 miles. So that's the plan. And then the big what if of the trip is starting tomorrow and then going into the following day, there's wind gusts of up to 50 miles an hour out here. So I don't really want to be in the woods with all these big trees when that hits. So I want to try to find a spot up on the plateau to camp, which I know sounds crazy. You're like, hey, you're going to be right in the wind with no windbreak. Yeah. So that's going to suck, but the tent will be fine, and no big trees to fall on me. So go ahead and comment down below, guys. There could be high water crossings. There could be crazy, winds. Do you think that this trip is going to stick with the original plan that I set out, or do you think I'm going to end up having to modify? Go ahead and put it down in the comments. Take your guess. You can probably hear that back behind me. That is Red Creek. So I think we might stop here. It's already, probably an hour after dark, but I love the sound of running water. Nice flat spot, no big window makers or anything. I mean, this is pretty clutch. And I'll show you guys the setup. So I'm sure most of you guys are aware that I'm a hammocker. But given, the 50-mile-an-hour winds, I didn't want to bring my Dyneema tarp out here. And then I also didn't want to bring Sarah's Durston X-Mid. It's a $750 tent. So I'm rocking the old Moon Designs Lunar Solo here, which is, Sarah used for years, but she replaced it with the Durston. I didn't get a great pitch on it. You see the bathtub's not great, but sleeping pad there is the insulated Nemo tensor. I have some sort of Amazon pillow, and then the top quilt there is the War Bonnet Diamondback. And then Sarah may not be here with us, but she is here with us in spirit because she got me some Stowaway Gourmet. I believe this was a Christmas present. Comrade Doganoff. Creamy stroganoff of venison, pasta, and mushrooms in Babushka's secret sauce. So for those of you guys who are unaware, Stowaway Gourmet is like the gourmet, backpacking freeze-dried meal, right? Friggin' things are, I want to say like 18, 19 bucks a piece or something like that. Like they're expensive, man. But they're good. I will say they are the best tasting backpacking meals that I've ever had, but we just kind of use them situationally. Like we'll get a couple a year, and eat them because they are really good. But man, you can't beat peak meals because like this thing's 19, 20 bucks, 514 calories. So yeah, it's delicious, but I mean, there's like half the calories you can get, in a peak refuel, right? So I'm always going to be partial to, peak meals, but these things are freaking delicious. So I can't wait to eat this. Might be time to chow down here. This is gonna be stupid hot, but I want to try it out real quick, see if it's any good. Oh man. Yeah, it's real good. I'm gonna enjoy this, guys. Go hang the food, and then off to bed. Beautiful morning, everybody. About 45 degrees. I think we're going to go ahead and pack up camp here. Going to go ahead and heat up some oatmeal, have a little bit of food, and then, time to hit the trail. We've been on the move for about 20 minutes now. We're going to be approaching the Red Creek crossing where we got to go across, and then most of the uphill on the trip is actually today. You know, as you can see, we're kind of down in, you know, the lower areas, and we'll be climbing up onto the plateau, and we'll be able to feel the full brunt of those 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts tonight as they come in. But yeah, for now we just have to see how much of a battle it's going to be to cross Red Creek, and then we'll pick up from there. Probably can't tell. Well, now you can. Red Creek is just below knee deep. Honestly, crossing wasn't too bad, so I just put on, so you guys can see, these little Amazon water shoes. Have my boots strapped at the top of my pack, so I'm just gonna dry off my feet real quick, and we're gonna continue on down the trail. I think the theme of today's trip is just do it. I was thinking about, you know, doing something for a couple weeks. Weather wasn't great, had other things to do, and I've just been feeling the need to, you know, get out. Ever since we spent 7 days on the Uinta Highline in Utah last year, I've only backpacked one other time. This is actually the first backpacking trip I've recorded in, you know, like 6 months. And, you know, I almost didn't go on this one. I told Sarah, I said, I'm not going, man. 50-mile-an-hour winds. I don't want a tree to come down on my head. You know what I mean? And then I woke up and, you know, it was just sunny and nice outside. And I said, you know what? Screw it. I didn't know if I had any food. My gear was still not really, you know, organized from like 6 months ago. I didn't have a route planned. I didn't even know how to get here because both of the forest roads are gated off until April. It's mid-March. So I didn't even know how I was going to get here. So I decided and planned about 4 hours prior to getting here, like what I was going to do. And then I worked until 3 o'clock. You know, I finished the second half of the day working from home. So I just threw my stuff in the car, headed to West Virginia. You know, 4.5 hour drive. Well, a little bit further than that, 4:45 maybe. And, you know, pulled in after sundown, night hiked in, set up camp, and then here we are the next day talking to you guys. So, you know, and I'm glad I did it. I might change my mind when those 50-mile-an-hour winds roll in. But guys, if you're thinking about doing something, man, you know, just go do it. We never know, you know, what's going to happen tomorrow, right? So if you want to do something, get out there and do it. As you guys can kind of tell, still some residual snow laying around on the forest floor. You know, kind of down here in between, you know, two mountains essentially. We haven't got up on the plateaus yet. And, you know, not a lot of sunlight penetrates down here. So I've been seeing intermittent signs of, you know, still a little bit of snowpack left, but nothing crazy, nothing on trail, just some stuff off to the side. Well, we need water, we're out. And this is one of the last major water crossings. So I think I'm gonna fill up now, and that's gonna have to last us, you know, probably most of the day. I'm sure we can find some place this time of the year, but I think I'm gonna fill up, take a leak, and then get back after it. Vecto 2-liter bag, wide mouth. Like these way better than those Sawyer bags. It would take me a half an hour. If you're new here, like I said, that's the Vecto 2-liter water bag. And then for my water filter, I've been using the platypus quick draw now for, oh, not quite a year. And there's some stuff that I like about it, but man, it's hard to beat the Sawyer squeeze. I mean, I feel like that thing doesn't, you know, gunk up as fast as this one does. I just feel like overall the Sawyer squeeze is hard to beat. And the only thing is, I just wish they could get their water bags right at some point in time. Like if they had decent water bags, they'd be fine, dude. This little campsite here, I marked this about 3 years ago. I think I called it like Daytona Beach or something like that. Really cool campsite here. As you can see, I'll show you guys around. This is where I stopped to, you know, fill up my water. Haven't got back on trail yet, but I love this. You know, you got that red tinted water from the tannins of, you know, Red Creek right there. And then like this sand. And then you have like the evergreens and stuff, right? And then I've seen deer out there, I think 2 times I've walked past here. And this campsite is sweet, dude. Nice big open space. You can fit multiple people here, tents, hammocks, stuff like that. I've always wanted to stay here. Every single time there's been somebody here, except for today. But I'm 4 miles into a 25-mile trip and obviously can't stay here. So that's the luck of the draw. But man, this part, guys, if you look at the map, all the way down that way, there's, you know, 30 campsites. Very popular place. It's the only time I've ever been here that I walked through this area, didn't see a single person. There it is, Valley View Trail. One of my favorite views in Dolly Sods. Like I said, a little bit overcast today, but still an amazing view, man. Beautiful day. Good temperature, not too hot, not too cold. It's not too wet up here. Wind hasn't gone crazy yet. And you know, sun's out a little bit, kind of overcast, but sun's also out. And you know, right now, I'm super glad I came out here. You know, and like I said, the theme of today's video is, you know, just go for it. Like Nike said, just do it. You know, oh God, just break your ankle. But like Nike said, just do it. You know, I could be sitting at home on the couch right now wishing I was outside, but here I am. And then speaking of just do it, shameless plug, if you guys have, you know, been following the channel for a while, you've probably seen Celeste on a couple of videos. I think she did the first annual trip with us. She did the Virginia Triple Crown with us. I think Oil Creek, maybe another one in there somewhere. She came to Dolly Sods actually. Well, anyways, speaking of just do it, she's going to be through hiking the PCT this year. So I'm going to go ahead and put a graphic up on the screen of her channel, and I'll go ahead and link it down in the description box as well. So part of what I wanted to do is, over there is the wildlife refuge, and then this is formerly Bear Rocks Trail, I believe now Sundew. And this land up here to the north, so you can see there's this old sign that says private property, but I'm pretty sure, well actually I'm 100% sure that this area up here called Dobbin Slashings was purchased by the National Forest, and it is now part of Dolly Sods Wilderness. And I see here, you know, they just haven't got around to replacing this signage. I mean, this still says Bear Rocks Trail, and it's been Sundew for a while. So there's nothing on the National Forest website about Dobbin Slashings, you know, being closed. I don't know if they've officially, you know, announced opening any of the trails up here, but I do know the National Forest now owns this. I'm just going to go ahead. This will be a trail I've never done, obviously, because it's, you know, been private property, but now it is owned by the National Forest. So I'm going to go check it out. I do like it because you have, you know, this amazing view out here of the valley. You've got more of the boulder fields and kind of like the sandy, you know, sandy trail down here. So I love this part of the Sods, man, and I'm glad that they added more land to it. Yeah, this is basically some sort of old access road is what this is, so makes for fairly easy walking. But good addition to Dolly Sods. I mean, this is like quintessential, you know, Dolly Sods hiking right here. You know, when you think of going to Dolly Sods, you see thumbnails, you watch videos and stuff like that, you see pictures. This kind of, you know, area is like what you're thinking, so it fits right in. Way down there is Dobbin Grade. The plan is we're gonna hike all the way up around here and come down towards Dobbin. And I've got a couple of different ideas on places to stay today, but I will say, you know, it's 2 o'clock. We're at least an hour past when this wind was supposed to pick up, and man, I haven't had anything worse than maybe 15 to 20 mile an hour, you know, gusts on occasion. Right now it's probably about 15, you could probably hear it. But it was supposed to be like 25 sustained and, you know, 50 gusts. And I'm just gonna keep my fingers crossed that that doesn't happen, because it frees up our plan quite a bit. I mean, heck, I might push all the way back to Red Creek, not like where we stayed at, but like at the Forks, and grab one of those campsites there. I mean, that'd probably be like a 16, 17 mile day or something like that. We'd be rolling in kind of near dark. But yeah, this is a lovely addition to Dolly Sods up here, dude. Oh, man. So we're about 12.5 miles in. I'm debating if I want to do like, 2 more and go to this campsite that I know about, or maybe if we want to push like another 4 or 5. I haven't made my mind up yet. It's almost 3:30. We've been stationary for about 20 minutes. I did some foot care. I got a couple hot spots. Like I said, I haven't backpacked in 6 months, so I taped those up. I want to eat this beef ramen, and there's some peppered beef jerky in there. All right, guys, so we're calling our first audible. So it's 10 after 4, and this wind is never manifested. That's what I based the whole trip around, was 50-mile-an-hour winds, right? I didn't bring my hammock. Yeah, I brought a tent. I didn't want to camp down in the, woods with the big trees and stuff, and 50-mile-an-hour winds, worrying about, widowmakers and stuff. I was going to find, like, you see, like, kind of like these small evergreens behind me. I was going to stay, kind of up on the plateau where I know that, the winds would be the worst. But just to avoid, like, the widowmakers and stuff like that. But I don't know, dude. This wind was supposed to start 4 hours ago. It's actually one of the calmer days I've seen in Dolly Sods, so I don't really think there's any indication that that's going to change anytime soon. So with that being said, I think I'm going to push all the way to my favorite, campsites down by Red Creek. I say this every trip I take out here. Everybody hates Dobbin because of the mud, dude, but I love it. Amazing views, amazing hiking down here. We're nearing the end of Dobbin Grade, which means we're about to do what I'm assuming is going to be the deepest crossing of the trip. I'm really kicking myself in the butt. I wish I wore trail runners. I would have just walked through it. I probably lost 15 minutes to a water crossing this morning. And I'm going to do the same thing because I wore my Loa Renegades and Gore-Tex boots. And my feet are dry. And obviously I'd like to keep it that way. And then, whereas the trail runners, it hasn't been cold enough to matter, and it hasn't been wet enough to matter. I'd have wet feet, but I don't know. I should have known better. Should have just walked through in trail runners, but here we are. And I'm not going to get water inside these Gore-Tex boots because, they won't dry out at all. And then my feet will be soaked the rest of the trip. We finished what I thought was going to be the deepest crossing, and it ended up being the most shallow I've ever seen it, surprisingly. But anyways, we're going to beat feet. It's almost 5 o'clock. I'm going to follow the sound of what sounds like heavy metal music, which is a first for Dolly Sods, and we're going to try to get down to Red Creek tonight. Well, everybody, it appears to have worked out. So this is Red Creek. If you guys have seen some of my Dolly Sods videos before, I've actually hung between these trees right here. I believe that was on our annual trip. Sarah and I have stayed back through there a couple of times, and we also shot the Durston X-Mid video back there. So I've kind of camped, you know, around here I think 3 or 4 times now. Up that way there's a big, huge site that's great for, you know, like a big group of people. We stayed there on the last annual trip, which I didn't record, but we camped there. But nice campsite, fire ring, great access to water. There's a little waterfall down this way. Maybe I'll show you guys. A little too cold to take a dip, but anyways, there is the Lunar Solo. Same setup as last night, just now got everything thrown in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and close her up here in a minute. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna set up the chair, and first priority is gonna be water. Just kind of consolidate my stuff a little bit, heat up some food, and I mean, just chill for a little bit, and then, you know, get to bed early tonight. But yeah, we knocked out about 16.5 miles today, so pretty decent. Kind of how I like to do things, you know, when I'm solo. I like to hike the majority of the day and then get into camp, you know, just with enough time before dark to set up, do most things in the daylight, and then, you know, be ready to chill. About time to start winding things down. I have another stowaway Gourmet here that Sarah got me. This one is the Lone Star Chili. Bet this thing's gonna try to burn my face, but we're gonna go for it. Some chili. Hard to beat Stowaway Gourmet, man, but 2 of these things are like 40 bucks, so I would use them situationally, but man, they're good. Good morning, everybody. It is day number 3 in the Dolly Sods Wilderness. The winds did show up last night. Maybe not 50, but I bet every bit of, you know, gust up to 40. And obviously, you know, we're fine. But that kind of kept me up a little bit last night. The winds definitely picked up. Pitter-pattered rain on and off all night. That's what it's doing right now too. I can kind of see in the background, there's like a very fine like mist, but standing here under like the tree canopy, I'm not really getting wet or anything. So I'm gonna hold off on the rain gear for now. And the goal is, it's about 8 a.m., okay? The percentage chance of rain is like 90% at noon. We've got about 7 miles left, so my goal is just to bang out those 7 miles before noon and get out of here. I'll get as much footage as I can, guys, but obviously when rain comes and goes and stuff, sometimes electronics have to go away, things like that. And I want to step off because I'm kind of cold right now. There's a 15 mile an hour, you know, kind of like steady breeze, and you know, I'm wearing shorts and just like a sun hoodie, right? So I want to get moving. Right off the rip, I have to cross Red Creek there, but I think we can go ahead and just do that in boots. So that's what we're gonna do now. I'll see you guys on the other side. Yeah, guys, we still have to be vigilant hiking. Probably about 25, 30 mile an hour winds right now. You can hear this thing creaking. Well, the microphone's facing me, but anyway. Yeah, it's picking up pretty good. This is what it was supposed to be like, you know, starting midday yesterday. But yeah, you can see there's a ton of debris down on the trail, and I was hiking the trails yesterday and didn't really see anything like that, you know, on any of the trails. So there's definitely a lot of small branches and stuff that come down last night. We are on Rocky Point Trail, so things are about to get a little bit slower and more deliberate for us. This trail is, as the name implies, extraordinarily rocky, so that'll slow down our pace a little bit. But I mean, after that, you know, we're back on the trail that we came in on, and at that point we'll only have about 3 miles left. So I bet we have something like 4.5 total left right now. So moving pretty good. Same thing, still pitter-pattering rain a little bit, but nothing that even made me put the rain jacket on yet. So hope it stays that way. Have a nice dry hike out. Apologize for the lack of footage, but man, for the last hour it was hammering rain pretty good. You know, pretty windy and stuff. Obviously I got the rain jacket on. It stopped for about 10 minutes now, and I'm kind of up in the air on taking the rain jacket off. I might give it a couple more minutes, but obviously, you know, the rain jacket's going to start to defeat its purpose, because I'm dry on the outside, but I'm going to start sweating on the inside, which I already kind of have. So but it's really good wind blocker right now, and we probably only have about 2.5 miles left, so I'm not too worried about it. I'll get you guys whatever shots that I can, but no promises that, you know, this rain comes in and out, so we'll see. I want you guys to take a look at like the trail behind me. It's you know, a ton of rocks, right? And you can probably see that we're, you know, cutting down in this valley here to get back down to the trailhead. And I'll tell you what, man, I'm probably moving like a mile an hour coming off of this thing. You know, it rained, and every single rock is very slippery, and then the roots are way worse, obviously. You guys wonder why I take trekking poles, man. First of all, it takes, you know, some stress off your joints when you're, you know, constantly putting the brakes on going downhill. But they've already saved me 3 or 4 times coming off this thing, and I don't even think we're a quarter of the way down. I mean, each step just has to be methodical. That's why I'm not moving while I'm recording right now. If you guys have hiked out here, you know that, or something similar. You know, a lot of the ATs like this, you know, those very well-worn trails with a ton of exposed rocks and roots. You gotta be careful, man. It's gonna take me a while to get down off of here. Finally quit raining, but we're only about a half a mile from the car. So anyways, guys, you know what time it is. I appreciate all of you guys sticking around, watching the video. You know, all the subscribers to the channel, thank you so much. You know, you're the reason why I keep doing this, is, you know, to kind of share this stuff and make it more accessible to other people. You know, maybe you'll learn something from watching the videos. But guys, if you did like the video, do me a favor, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It helps get the video circulated. The most important thing you could do is go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's free, does not cost you anything, but what that's going to do is allow you to see all of the videos, you know, that I post in the future. And I believe there's already something like, you know, 50 plus backpacking trip videos up on the channel already. 8 or 9 different states, maybe 10 at this point. We're taking another week-long trip out west to California this year, so tons of great content, tips, tricks, hacks, things like that. Guys, I'm going to put 2 additional resources in the description box. The first one, if you're wondering, you know, what gear I carry, I'm going to leave a link to my pack wizard. It's going to have all the stuff that I brought with me on this trip. And then the second thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to link the GPX file down below as well too. Guys, for Dolly Sods, I've probably logged something like, you know, 30 campsites out here in like 7 or 8 different routes. So if you guys are trying to plan a trip out here, just download that and put it in your hiking app of choice. But as always, guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.